What's going on, everybody? James here, redoptionagency.com. 22 years selling full-time on eBay. Well, where do I start? Um, so I feel like I'm at a crossroads right now. And I did make a video this morning because there was only a couple that had to go out. So I got those shipped out and moved on. But I just feel like I'm at a crossroads right now where I've been doing this 22 years. And I had a vision and a plan from the beginning of how I wanted to do it. And I guess as other resellers look at it, it could be unconventional. But the way I look at it as a business plan, it's not really that unconventional. And that was to live by the model: you make the money when you buy. So if any buys came up, no matter how backed up I was, I would buy it, because you're going to make your money when you buy. That's probably one of the biggest rules in business when it comes to buying and selling things. And I lived that motto to not just to a T. I think it was almost perfect timing, because at this time, the early 2000s to the late 2000s, I guess, you had a lot of businesses closing. It was a shift in culture, just a shift in society, kind of like it is now. It feels that way now, but maybe I can't say on a smaller scale, because I'm not really into the buying part of it right now as I was then. So I really don't know what's out there and available. I don't keep up. I don't look far. But at the time, especially in media where I started, there were so many record stores closing. I mean, I think we went down from like 22 stores in the area to like 4. And several of those I've got to buy out, along with other stores across the country. And then not just that, I got in on right before the shoe craze really kicked in, where everybody was buying and selling shoes. And I was able to spend, tens of thousands of dollars a month buying inventory on shoes and flipping it. So I kind of got in on the beginnings of that. I felt like everything I've done was at the right place at the right time for the things that I enjoyed, and what the things I wanted to sell. And it all worked out. In 2024, I'm standing here basically saying, I have achieved my lifelong goal. I started with nothing. My only goal was to be happy with whatever I was doing and have a secure place to sleep at night, and hopefully have a nice car to drive. And I was able to accomplish that. Building the business, it went, I think it's about 100. I keep forgetting the number exactly. I think it's about $160,000 in debt as I was building the business, as we were building the business. And to pull out of that, and just to be sitting here today going, what's next? What do I do now? I say that from a standpoint of, like, you don't want to feel greedy. Like, I've accomplished what I wanted to my entire life. Something I never thought really that I was ever going to be able to do. I mean, and did it in really 20, just call it 24 years. Well, 23. It'll be 23 in August, so 23 years. I call it 24 because I kind of, started, I knew what I wanted and knew and started the road to get there, to get like the computer back in 2000 and things like that. So 24 years to go from the very thought of, I want to do this, to standing here today going, I can sleep at night securely. I'm happy with how I make my money. And the cherry on top, I've been driving nice cars the whole time. So as I'm sitting here today, just pondering, like, what do I do next? On one hand, I don't want to feel greedy with whatever I decide to choose, and I don't want to jeopardize where I'm at. So probably for the last month or so, I've just been kind of floating. I like to use the word floating. I've gotten past a lot of emotional things in life, with family deaths. Been through a lot of an emotional roller coaster since like 2015 with health and stuff with Jan, and then with my brother dying, and then my dad moving in. So, and then before the business got a whole lot better, they always say things get worse before they get better. And then when we had that dip in the business where we had the tax issues and stuff, because the tax guy we had kind of screwed things up. But and that was at the same time as failing health and everything. So it was a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. So that was probably like the biggest stressful point in the life. And then the years following, all the situations, to be standing here today in 2024 feeling at peace. But I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste any time. But like I said, I don't want to do it in a greedy way. I don't want to feel like it's greed. Because I feel like if you get too greedy, you're going to lose what you've already accomplished, what you've already worked for, what you've already wanted. And I definitely don't want to do that. So, as I said before, I think that the next step would be to, the next focus would be, now that the business and my achievement has been met, my next focus would be, say, doubling down so that Jan can retire, type of thing. And then, so how do I go about that? What's my game plan? That would be what I started in when I was 15 years old. I want to be happy with what I'm doing. It took me 15 years to figure out what that was. In 2024, if I say the next goal is to get Jan retired, I don't want to waste 15 years trying to figure out how, because then she'll be retired by then anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. Retire early. How about that? Retire her early. That's a good way of putting it. I mean, we'll be fine when she does retire. So there's no point there. It's retire early. Even though if she retires, she's probably still going to be working part-time here and there. She already said she would be. But what does that look like? Where do I go? What do I do? how do I build upon what is already there without damaging that foundation? So if I'm building second dream on top of first dream, I don't want to damage the first dream. So if I create that as the dream, retire Jan early, how does that go about that? First and foremost, I think the bottom line is double. Things have to double, meaning the bottom line number has to be doubled. How do I go about that? Do I increase my items, my sold price per item 100%? Do I figure out a YouTube plan also on top of that? Do I figure out do I put thought into YouTube? That's probably the best way of putting it. I don't put much thought into my YouTube channel. The one video that I did put a lot of thought into, I think it's my second to the biggest video ever, my biggest reselling video. Let's see here. Whoops. Yeah. 1 year ago, it has 84,000 listings now, or 84,000 views. That for my channel is huge. And that was the only video I really put a lot of thought into. If you don't know, my biggest video is riding a roller coaster at Silver Dollar City. It's got 333,000 views. But yeah, so what does it look like? What does doubling the bottom line look like? What does retiring Jan early look like for me? What do I got to do to make that second thing happen? Instead of saying, oh, I got a Porsche now, I need a Lamborghini. That's greed. I don't even need the Porsche, right? As long as I got a reliable car, I'm good with a nice stereo system and I can trust to take road trips with, I'm good. So what does that look like? Where do I go? What do I do? So I think I'm going to start putting myself in that headspace. I'm enjoying the floating process because it's allowing me to see what has been accomplished over the last almost 23 years. It's allowing me to breathe after having, 8-9 years of roller coasters of emotion and stress. It's allowing me to find peace. It's allowing me to be centered, if you will, and not in some, the whole, I'm not that deep into all that, because I feel if you live in a situation where you can just float all day, I love the word float. You don't need to take time out to float. But I'm at the point now where I don't want to waste any more time. Like if I die today, if you told me today I'm dying tomorrow, I'm not going to be sad. I accomplished my one and only dream. My dream didn't include necessarily a big mansion. It was narrow, a safe place to sleep at night. So now, what does that look like? Do I, find another source for product, whether that's something like the shoes were in 2015 or 14, whenever that was, Is it finding the next thing like that? Is it, like I said, actually putting thought into um, videos that actually can teach people something, and not just, you're wasting an hour of your day just to get a few nuggets, if you will? Is it being more focused on a video from A to Z, if you will? I don't know. I don't know the answers right now. Which way? Because no matter which direction I go, I want to be happy doing it. So yeah, like I said, I feel I'm at a crossroads right now. What is the next proper step for me to not damage what's already there, from not just the business and the business income, but also my mental state of just being happy and content and proud to have achieved something I frankly never thought I was going to. So I think the first step for me is, as I'm doing, is acknowledging, seeding my conscious, my brain, with the next turn, the next step, the next goal. And then it'll work itself out consciously and subconsciously, as long as I keep everything else stable, the frame of mind and the business. Then I will figure out what those next steps are going to be and what it's going to take to achieve that second goal. So yeah, that's where I'm at today. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it right now. So that's where I'm at. And my camera just gave me the sign that it's time to it's time. There we go. That's time to go, I guess. So thanks everybody for everything that you guys have helped with, to building this channel, to buying stuff from my store, to just the comments of support through my downtime, and or when I was down and things like that. So you guys have been a big portion of the last several years of my life, and I don't want to abandon that. So YouTube will have some form going forward, from it just being the same to actually me putting thought into something. Or just having fun with it. Yeah, it's going to be something. But as I said, I don't know what that's going to be yet. To figure that out. But it's got to be something fun, something I enjoy, something that makes me happy, or it's not worth it to me. Because even if no matter what kind of dream you have, there's going to be a miserable way of achieving that dream, and there's going to be a happy way to achieve that dream. The happy way may take more work. It may take a little bit longer. But you know what? The way I look at it at the end of the day, if you do it the happy way, you're probably going to have more years at the end of your life than you would if you've taken the stressful, painful road. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And I'll see you all in the next video. Later.